Okay, we have seen decomposition reaction. In decomposition reaction, I gave example of calcium carbonate, that is CaCO3. When you will heat it, so you will get CaO plus CO2. Calcium carbonate solid state, calcium oxide solid state, and carbon dioxide gas is evolved, so we will show upward arrow. So since here we have supply heat, and that's why this type of decomposition reaction is called as a thermal decomposition reaction. Okay, means decomposition reaction can be, one is a thermal decomposition, means we have supply heat, so that's why this type of decomposition reaction is called as a thermal decomposition reaction. Now let's take another example like water. Formula for water is a H2O liquid. When you supply electricity, when you carry out electrolysis of acidified water, you will find out that hydrogen H2 gas and the O2 gas is liberated. So in product we have 2 oxygen, so multiply this by 2. Hydrogen here we have 4, so multiply this hydrogen by 2, so it will be 4. Now it is a balance equation. So here you will find out that this reaction is carried out in the electrolytic cell. So in that electrolytic cell we have 2 electrodes, one is cathode and the anode. So hydrogen is having positive charge, oxygen is having negative charge, and anode is a positive and cathode is a negative. So this hydrogen will liberate at the cathode and oxygen will liberate at the anode when you will carry out the electrolysis. So again decomposition, we spilt water into hydrogen and the oxygen, and that's why this is also example of decomposition. But since here we use electricity, that's why it is called as this example we will call as electrolytic decomposition reaction. Understood what do you mean by electrolytic decomposition? Here we supply electricity, that's why it is electrolytic decomposition reaction. In case of first we supply heat, so that's why it is called as a thermal decomposition reaction. Okay, now let's take third one. Here I will take a silver chloride in the wash glass. This is the wash glass. In this wash glass you will keep a silver chloride and you will keep in the sunlight. Okay, when you keep in the sunlight, you will get a silver plus Cl2. So chlorine 2 in a product, so multiply this by 2, silver 2 here also multiply by 2. So now this is a balance equation. So here the silver chloride spilt into silver and chloride, that is decomposed into silver and the chlorine. So this is example of decomposition reaction, but since we use sunlight, this is called as a this is the example of photolytic decomposition reaction. Understood? So decomposition reaction are again depending upon the condition used, classified into three types. When the heat is supplied, it is called as a thermal decomposition. When the electricity is supplied, it is called as a electrolytic decomposition. And when the sunlight is used, it is called as a photolytic decomposition. Okay. Here sometimes question asked ki when we carried out electrolysis of acidified water, which element or which gas is liberated at cathode and the anode. So you should know ratio. Sometimes they ask ratio also. What is the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen liberated when you carried out the electrolysis of water? Okay. Okay, we have seen that in day-to-day life there are many examples like you can say curdling of milk. So you will find out that in the summer season the time required to convert milk into curd is what? It is a small span. But in case of the winter, the time required to convert milk into curd is more. Same way you can say our grills or you can say windows. After few years, you will find out that they get deteriorates. Or you can say there are some reaction taking place. That reaction is what? Very slow reaction. But when you take suppose acid and base and if you mix it together, the reaction is what? It is in a fraction of second. So or you can say when you eat food, the food is get digest, it requires some hours. Okay. So there are some reactions, they are take place in a fraction of seconds. Some reactions require you can say years or you can say month. Some reaction required you can say some hours. So these reactions you can say some are fast reaction, some are slow reaction or some are moderate reaction. So that amount or you can say time required to convert reactant into product is nothing but what? It is a rate of chemical reactions. Means how much time within how much time the reactant is converted into product, that is called as what? It is a rate of chemical reaction. So this rate of reaction is affected by the various factors. Like when you study at home, there are various factors which affect your studies, like someone on or TV, so definitely you will get distracted. You can say when your parents are talking loudly, so definitely you get distracted. Or suppose someone will blow the horn, so you will get distracted. So these are the what factors which affect your studies. Same way here also, when the chemical reactions are taking place, that time there are various things which affect the rate, which affect the what? That reaction. That is called as a factors affecting chemical reaction, or it is a factor affecting the rate of chemical reaction. So in that, the first factor is there, that is a nature of reactants. Here I will give you one example, that is aluminium reacted with concentrated HCl. Concentrated you have to write like this, concentrated HCl. You will get here aluminium trichloride and hydrogen gas will evolve. Okay. Again you have to balance it. It's 3 chlorine. So multiply this by 3. If you will multiply this by 3, then it will become 3 hydrogen, but here we have 2 hydrogen. So definitely you will multiply this by 6. Here it will be 2, 3 2s are 6, and hydrogen will write 3. Okay. So hydrogen is a gaseous state, so I will put a upward arrow. Then aluminium chloride is a solid, then HCl is a aqueous, and aluminum is a solid. Okay. Same way you react zinc react with the HCl, you will get a ZnCl2 plus hydrogen gas will evolve. Okay. Again you have to balance it. Chlorine I have 2, so multiply this by 2, hydrogen 2, here also 2, it is a balance. Okay. So here this the HCl is the same, but aluminum and zinc are two different reactant. So when HCl react with aluminum, the reaction is faster than that of the HCl react with the zinc. Why? Because it depends on the nature or reactivity of what aluminum and the zinc. Aluminum is more reactive than that of the zinc, and that's why this reaction will take place faster than that of the reaction of HCl with the zinc. Understood? So the rate of reaction is depend on what? The nature of the reactant which we use. HCl in case of both is same, but aluminum is more reactive than that of zinc. So this reaction of HCl with aluminum is faster than that of the reaction of HCl with the zinc. Okay. So this is the first factor which affecting the chemical rate of chemical reaction. Then next one is the size of particles of the reactant. Okay. You know the Shahabadi tiles. So if we take a Shahabadi tile, suppose this is my test tube 1, in which we will take a big pieces of Shahabadi tile, and in the second you will take a second test tube in which we will take a powder of Shahabadi tile, and then you will add in this. Here also you have to add 10 ml HCl. In the first also you have to add 10 ml HCl. So after observation you will find out that the reaction in a second test tube will be faster than that of the first test tube. What is the reason behind that? The reason behind that is here the particle size is big. So the time required for the reaction is more than that of the second test tube, where the particle size is what? Very small, it is a powder form. So rate of reaction is depend on what? Size of particle. As the size is small, reaction will be faster. As the size will bigger, reaction will be slow. That's why mostly when we take medicines when we take in a powder form, that will more effective to our body than that of what you can say the tablets. Okay. Then third one is a concentration of reactants. In concentration of reactant, suppose let's say example of calcium carbonate, that is CaCO3 solid reacted with the HCl dilute will give CaCl3 plus CO2 plus H2O. Okay. So in case of this I use dilute hydrochloric acid, but in second I will take CaCO3 same solid plus I will use HCl, but it is a concentrated. Again I will get the same thing, that is a CaCl2, not 3, CaCl2, here also CaCl2 plus you will get a CO2 plus H2O. Valency of calcium is 2 and chlorine is 1, so definitely it will be not CaCl3, it will be CaCl2, CaCl2, CaCl2. But here you will observe that reactants are same, calcium carbonate, HCl, calcium carbonate, HCl, but the concentration of HCl is different. In case of the first reaction, I use dilute hydrochloric acid, so the rate of removal of carbon dioxide is less. But in case of second example, I took concentrated hydrochloric acid, so the rate of reaction is faster, and in a small span of time I am getting a more amount of carbon dioxide. So here from these two examples, it is observed that as concentration is more, then the rate of reaction will be faster. Okay. Then third one is there, that is third factor which affect the rate of chemical reaction, that is nothing but what? It is a temperature. Again take a same example like calcium carbonate. If we will keep calcium carbonate as this, then nothing will happen. But when calcium carbonate, when you will heat it, so you will get what? CaO plus CO2 gas. Okay. So as the temperature increases, the rate of reaction will increase or speed of reaction will increase. This example tells us that as the temperature increases, rate of reaction will increase. Okay. But it is not applicable for all. Sometimes some reactions are the endothermic reaction, that time you should, some reaction are exothermic reaction, that time you should not apply the heat, otherwise reaction will cease, reaction will stop. Now fifth factor is there, that fifth factor is nothing but what? It is a catalyst. Let us take example of KClO4, potassium chlorate. When you will potassium chlorate, when it is heated in manganese dioxide, black color powder, you will get a KCl plus O2. Potassium chloride plus oxygen you will get. You have to balance it. This is a 4, so multiply this by 2 KCl, here also one KCl. So this MnO2 is used as a catalyst which speed up the reaction. Or you can say another example, you can take H2O2, hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide gives H2O plus O2 gas. Okay, the fifth factor is affecting the chemical reaction is nothing but what? It is a catalyst. So see this KClO3, that is potassium chlorate, will give you in presence of magnesium oxide, you will get KCl plus oxygen. When you use magnesium oxide, the rate of decomposition of KClO3 will be more. So it will speed up the rate of reaction. Same way you can say this is hydrogen peroxide H2O2 in presence of manganese dioxide, that is a black color powder which is used, this is used as a catalyst. So it will produce, it will decompose into water and the oxygen. So in presence of manganese oxide, you will get a more amount of oxygen. This tells that what? Ki catalyst is the substance which alter the rate of reaction, which speed up the rate of reaction. Okay. So these are the factors which affecting the rate of chemical reaction. Just we will revise once again. What are the factors which affect the rate of chemical reaction? I told you what is the rate of chemical reaction. Rate of chemical reaction is nothing but what? How much time is required to convert reactant into the given product is called as rate of reactions. So this rate of reaction is altered by the various factors, like first one is nature of reactant. So if the reactant is more reactive, then the rate will be faster. If reactant is less reactive, then the rate will be slower. Then the second, that is what? It is size of particles of reactant. If particle size of reactant is small, then the rate will be faster, but if the particle size is big, the rate of reaction will be less. And the third one is the concentration of reactants. So if we'll take a dilute and concentrated form, so concentrated form, the reactant which have more concentration will have the more rate of reaction than that of the dilute. Then third one is what? It is the temperature. The rate of reaction is depend on the temperature. As temperature increases, rate of reaction will also increase. Means rate of reaction is directly proportional to temperature. And the last factor is there, that is what? Catalyst. The catalyst is a substance without taking part in the reactions is alter the reaction. Means here when hydrogen peroxide is decomposed in water and oxygen, then this will play, what is the role of MnO2? It will just participate in the reaction, it will just speed up the reaction, but there will be no change. There will be no change in a manganese dioxide. So that's why this is called as a catalyst. Same way here also, you can use Fe powder when you prepare ammonia by the Haber process. So Fe powder will act as what? Catalyst. We speed up the reaction. That is, hydrogen will react with the nitrogen and will get a more amount of ammonia. Okay. Okay. Next, we'll see what is the oxidation and reduction. So here you will observe that this first reaction, magnesium is reactive to oxygen, or when magnesium ribbon is burned in a air, you will get a magnesium oxide. So since here oxygen is added in the magnesium, this process is called as a oxidation. That is a addition of oxygen is nothing but the process in which oxygen is added is called as a oxidation. Or in second example, you will find out that MgH2, that is magnesium hydride, is decomposed into magnesium and the hydrogen. So the removal of hydrogen is also known as a oxidation. So I can write, according to the old concept, addition of the process in which oxygen is added or hydrogen is removed, it is called as a oxidation. And in case of here, that is copper oxide react with the hydrogen, this oxygen is removed from copper oxide. So since oxygen is removed, that is a removal of oxygen is called as a reduction, and here hydrogen is added in a sodium to give a sodium hydride. So this process is nothing but what is a reduction. So addition of hydrogen is a reduction. So process in which, it is a process, the process in which oxygen is removed or hydrogen is added is called as a reduction. Here you can write one more example, like a carbon, you add oxygen, you will get a CO2. So this is what? Oxidation reaction. Or I have, suppose this is a CS3 single bond CS3. This is nothing but what? Ethane. This is a hydrocarbon, second member of alkane. From this you remove hydrogen, you will get a CS2 double bond CS2 plus, this is nothing but what? Ethene I will get, plus I will get H2. So hydrogen is removed, or you can say oxygen is added. This is the process, this is the reaction in which oxygen is added, and this is the process or reaction in which hydrogen is removed, is called as a oxidation. Same way you can write like this CS3 CS2OH, that is nothing but what? Ethyl alcohol. This ethyl alcohol, when it is reacted with dilute H2SO4 sulfuric acid and the K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate, I will get here CH3COOH, carboxylic acid. So from this sulfuric acid and dichromate, I'll get a nascent oxygen, and the nascent oxygen is added here, so it get converted into carboxylic acid, plus I'll get here water. So this is also called as a oxidation process, and this dilute sulfuric acid and potassium dichromate is used as a oxidizing agent. This dilute sulfuric acid and the potassium dichromate in this reaction is called as a oxidizing agent, and this process you will call as what? Oxidation. So from this example it is clear that it is a process in which oxygen is added or hydrogen is removed. It's called as a oxidation. And here you can write like suppose CH2 double bond CH2 in presence of nickel as a catalyst. Sorry, here you will add, that is what, this is the ethene plus hydrogen in presence of nickel as a catalyst. So one hydrogen will go with the first carbon, second carbon will go with the second hydrogen will go to the second carbon by breaking one pi bond. So I'll get CH3 single bond CH3. So I have added hydrogen in a ethene to convert into ethane. So this is also example of what? Reduction. So this process taking place over here is called as a reduction. Same way you can write like sodium having one electron in outermost shell. So sodium 2, 8 and the one electron. It will lose its one electron to become a stable. So I can write Na plus 1 electron. I will have 2 and the electrons. So this is the process in which electron is lost. So that's why this process is also called as a oxidation. The process in which electron is lost is called as a oxidation. I can write here Mg will give you Mg2 plus 2 electrons, that is 2, 8 and 2 electron. It will lose 2 electron from the outermost shell and will get a 2 and the 8. So here 2 electron are lost. In case of this example, 1 electron is lost. So this is the process in which one or more than 1 electron lost, then it is called as a oxidation. Or here you can write like you can say aluminium 3 plus 3 electron. So it will convert into aluminium. Or you can say I will write here chlorine plus 1 electron will convert to Cl minus. So this is the process in which the electrons are gained, then it is called as a reduction. So this is according to new concept, or you can say it is also called as a electron transfer concept. Electron transfer concept. It is called as a electron transfer concept, or it is also called as a according to the new concept. Now we will perform one activity. See, I have, this is a manganese dioxide MnO2 black color powder. In that I am going to add HCl, concentrated hydrochloric acid. So you will find out that when the manganese dioxide reacted with the concentrated, I will add manganese powder in a concentrated HCl. So here you will observe that some gas coming out. So manganese dioxide react with HCl, it convert into manganese chloride plus water, and greenish color gas is coming out. That is nothing but what? It is a chlorine. Okay, so I will write this reaction MnO2 plus HCl will give you MnCl2 plus H and O will form H2O plus Cl2. So since here 2, you will multiply this by 2, hydrogen 2, here also 2, oxygen. I have 2 here, multiply this by 2. Then chlorine I have 2 and 2, 4, so multiply this by 4. Okay, so this is my balance equation, that is manganese oxide reacted with HCl, you will get a manganese chloride plus water and the chlorine. Now here you will observe that this chlorine, it is a 0, there is no charge, but in case of here it is a -1. So -1 to 0, that is its oxidation state is increase, and in case of this is your +4, this is your +2. So oxidation number is what? It is a decreases. So this undergoes reduction and HCl undergoes oxidation. So here this is a reaction in which oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously, and that's why this is the example of what? Redox reaction. Redox reaction is nothing but what? It is a oxidation reaction plus a reduction reaction. The reaction in which oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously, then that type of reaction is called as a redox reaction. So this is the best example of redox reaction, that is what? Manganese oxide react with HCl, you will get a MgCl2 plus water plus Cl2. Same way we have seen that displacement reaction, that is a Zn plus CuSO4 will give you ZnSO4 plus Cu. This is also example, means here this is a oxidation and copper 2 plus will convert to copper 0. So this is what you can say reduction. Okay, so zinc is converted to Zn2 plus ion, so this process is called as a oxidation, and here the Cu2 plus is converted to Cu, so that is called as a reduction. Now this species, that is zinc, you will call as what? A reducing agent, and this copper sulfate you will call as what? Oxidizing agent. Okay, means the substance which undergoes oxidation will act as a reducing agent, and substance which undergoes reduction will act as a oxidizing agent. So here oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously, and that's why this is also example of what? A redox reaction. Now the last part of this topic is left, that is a concept of corrosion. So what is corrosion? The corrosion is nothing but what? You know, that is various metals. You can say copper, you can say calcium, you can say oxygen, you can say iron. So they are converted into, means calcium converted to calcium carbonate, then iron is converted to iron oxide, then you can say zinc is converted to zinc sulfite, or you can say zinc sulfate. So due to this reaction of what? These gases from the air, this metal are converted into its sulfides, or you can say carbonate, or you can say oxides, and due to which their properties are get deteriorates. So this phenomenon is known as what? Corrosion. That is the process in which the properties of metals are deteriorate due to its conversion of that metals into carbonates, or you can say oxides, or you can sulfates, or you can sulfides, is called as a corrosion. And when iron get oxides, iron is converted to its oxide, that is nothing but what? It is a Fe2O3 having X number of water molecule, which is called as a rust. Okay. So this rust is nothing but, what is the formula of rust? It is the Fe2O3 having X number of water molecule. This iron which come in contact with oxygen and water vapors from the atmosphere, and it convert into iron ferric oxide having the X number of water molecule, which is called as a rust. Means this property of ions will lose, it deteriorate the property of iron, and so that what you can say, the buildings, you can say bridges, you can say get damage. Okay. So to prevent this corrosion, you have to apply anti-rust, you apply oil paint, you apply you can say you can do the coating of zinc on the iron, that is called as a galvanization. Okay. And the last part is left, that is nothing but what? It is a rancidity. So what is the rancidity? Rancidity. Okay. Rancidity is nothing but what? When the oily food, or you can say butter and all, or you can say chips, when you keep outside, you will find out that after 2 or 3 days you will get a bad smell. So the rancidity is nothing but what? This oily food, when it exposed in the air, it get oxidized and you will get a bad smell. Okay. That is called as a rancidity. So how will prevent rancidity? Rancidity is prevented by adding antioxidant. You can add antioxidant like BHT, butyrated hydroxytoluene, or you can say BHA, that is butyrated hydroxyanisole, or you can keep substances, this oily substance, in a airtight container, so that what? You can prevent rancidity. As well as you can flush nitrogen in the pockets, in the packets of what you can say there's chips and all, so that what? It will prevent the rancidity of food, the spoilage of food. Okay. So I hope you must have understood these topics. So just we'll quick revise what we did in this chapter, that is in a chemical reactions and the equation. Okay. In the chemical reactions and equation, I have started with you should know first what do you mean by atoms. You should know the periodic tables, elements from the periodic table. Then you have seen what are the various type of ions. We have seen the various type of cations, various type of anions. Because this chapter, to make a formula, you require cations and the anions. So whatever chart I gave you in the starting of this lecture, that you have to do properly. Then we have seen that is a physical and the chemical changes, or we have seen what is a chemical reaction. Okay. Then we have seen that what are the rules or what are the convention used to write the chemical reactions. Okay. Then we have seen how to balance any chemical reaction, balancing chemical reaction. The next part was a type of chemical reaction. We have seen the various type of chemical reactions. Then what are the factors affecting chemical reaction, and the last part is what? It is a oxidation, a reduction, a redox reaction, and corrosion, concept of corrosion, how you can prevent corrosion, and the last one is a rancidity and how you can prevent rancidity. Okay. So I hope you must understood this topic properly. Thank you.